All right, everybody. Back by not popular demand, but because we wanted to. It's been a couple years since Justin and myself here did Business Cringe, or basically, if any of you are familiar with Joshua Fluke's channel, Dunking on Corporate 101 is going to be the name of this show going forward. Just because we don't like corporate. You'll understand eventually if you start to follow these videos. I'm Benjamin, and this is Justin. And we
Hi.
are two butthurt former corporate employees who basically don't like anything that's corporate America. So that's what we're bringing to you today.
Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. All right, so let's get into it. Today, I think we're going to start with the return to the office mandates. First things first.
OTO is really slow.
No, this is what RTO really is at this point. Uh,
Kindergarten.
our return to the office mandates nowadays, the largest reason that they're a success and a failure, but if you look at it in two different ways. For the employee, it's a failure because we get told bye bye. But for corporate, it's, yeah, I get to control you, if you know what I mean. So if you don't come back to the office 3 days a friggin' week, you're fired.
And we don't have to pay you severance or unemployment. Win-win.
Now, we're going to slowly move you in with back to the office in this way. First, we're going to start with 2 days. And if you don't come on those 2 days, you're screwed. Now we're going to move you back in 6 months to 3 days in the office and 2 days at home. No choice of yours. Now it's going to be 4 days. Now it's going to be 5 days. And if you don't listen to us, you're fucked.
Welcome to democracy.
No, 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 no. See, in a democracy, we actually get a choice. This is called authoritarianism.
Again, welcome to democracy. Corporate democracy.
There is no such thing as corporate democracy. It's called basically, I pay you. Not only do I pay you, I pay you. I give you your benefits. So you will be a good little servant and show up for me or else.
Again, corporate democracy, because pay every dollar we pay you means another vote. Since you don't pay us, you don't get the vote. Perfect.
Now, the one thing now, out of which companies do you think had the worst return to the office policy if you had to pick one?
Amazon, Microsoft,
So, in other words, big tech.
Google, essentially, yeah.
I was going to say, honestly, in my humble opinion, Zoom was the worst. We
Oh,
want you
well,
back to
Zoom,
the
yeah,
office just so
Zoom.
you can log onto a computer for Zoom conferences.
Now that is an irony that
Yes,
cannot
because come
be.
on, we're Zoom. We're the top number one company out there that basically is for all your virtual software. We're making you come back to the office only so you can log in on a computer and do a Zoom conference.
So what's the point?
Why can't we work from home? Because we're corporate and we said so. Otherwise, we'll go wah.
That's all they do, anyways.
They've been going wah since what was it? There's a joke I'm specifically trying to remember, and it was from our Lord's channel. Oh yeah, they've been basically going wah since the beginning of work, which was in like the Industrial Revolution in like the 1850s.
Yeah, since the beginning of corporate, yes.
You mean since the foundation of the United States of America and the East India Trading Company?
If you're going back that far, that's even further back. Yeah. VOC, VOC.
VOC, VOC. I mean, I think the funniest one just from watching our Lord's channel was the Dell return to the office, especially in Texas. That
Oh,
was
that
good.
is funny. Especially when like a good majority of the people were like, fuck you.
I mean, let's be honest, and don't take personal what I'm about to say in terms of this,
Mm.
but you tech employees happen to be the most spoiled people ever. Most of y'all were working from
Agreed.
home long before work from home became popular.
Agreed. Agreed.
You guys get the highest salaries, supposedly. You get to start off 60 to 70K, and that's not enough for you.
We ain't asked to be paid more. They just paid us more.
I mean, what else can I say about big tech at this point, or tech in general, that hasn't already been said? You guys get to start off 50 to 100K depending on the firm. You basically, depending on the role, get to work from home most of the time before it even became popular.
Yep.
Yet I don't know who goes wah more between the both of us. Is it corporate itself, or is it the fucking employees?
Well, I would say corporate itself, because they're the ones who made it possible.
Yeah, and then you guys have to go with a flashing me contest to prove who's the bigger wah.
Essentially.
I mean, for most of us who either work in healthcare or education sectors, we don't get to work from home. We have to be on site.
Until now.
Well, at least with colleges and universities, but that's enough. But that's a good leeway into our next topic. This is Justin's favorite topic ever, which is corporate America being giant hypocrites over what they want.
Absolutely.
Now, since you are basically what I like to call a professional student, since you have 4 degrees and they still won't hire you because you had a double economics degree, and I still can't figure this out how over
Double
40 people.
economics, how does that work? I don't have a double economics degree. You crazy?
Okay, you have a minor in economics. My point is this: you have a minor in economics, you have up to 4 degrees, and they still won't hire you.
Well, it was really 2 degrees, but sure.
2 degrees. Now you're doing
Yes.
like a bunch of advanced certifications, and how much let's
What are
tell
you talking about?
let's try to calculate with the audience. How much have you spent at this point only to not have a job?
Not sure, but it's not as much as y'all think I do.
I'm being sarcastic, but my point is this: especially at this age, for somebody who's invested that much time in education and his
Uh-huh.
least favorite things, which also happen to be a boot camp, then online certifications. Trust me, I've seen the whole deep analysis with you. How does
Yep.
someone in your case literally still have no job?
Great question. It makes no sense. Because it's not like I haven't been, moving with the goalpost. But it seems like it's always just out of reach.
You mean because
Mm.
let's be honest about something? Is it corporate wah? Is it they don't like your degree? Is it they feel they lack the control over you? Is it the fact that they just want your money? What is it?
If I knew, I would tell y'all straight. I
Because
actually don't.
at this point, it's even difficult for me to attempt to figure out.
I
Like
know.
I cannot wrap my head around it some days.
It's crazy, but it's the volatility of the corporate mind.
The volatility of the corporate mind, or just the fact that they probably don't think your qualifications are good enough. Because honestly, this is what I don't
Mm.
understand about them. And it's not just tech. It's in certain sectors. I'll use a good example. My very close friend, who's a co-founder of a mental health and
Mm-hmm.
a mental health clinic.
Mm-hmm.
She got to be a co-founder, has been in the field of social work and therapy for up to 20 to 30, literally now over 20 years. So in their
Mm-hmm.
field, it's probably the most straightforward you could ever get. You go to
Yep.
you do your undergraduate program, which can be in psychology or whatever, as I've had
Mm-hmm.
on my regular podcast. I've had
Mm-hmm.
enough social workers to understand. You do
Mm-hmm.
whatever you need to in undergraduate, which is typically probably like a social sciences or
Mm-hmm.
whatever pre-social work is. You go to grad school for your
Mm-hmm.
for an upper master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get hired or you're able to do an internship. During the
Mm-hmm.
internship, while you're getting your clinical rotations, you take the LMSW or the license
Yep.
for mental health,
Yep.
and then you probably start at that clinic or you move on. But yet,
Yep.
for a business major or somebody in computer science, it's not the same.
Computer science, it just changes so fast. Like literally, um, like only a few years ago, you're okay if you had a pulse
Now, when
and
you
you went
say
to
a
a
few
pulse.
years ago, are you saying 10 years ago?
Oh no 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 no! I'm talking about as short as five. Half a decade ago, as short as five. You know,
So, okay.
if you had a pulse. Actually, you know what? Yeah, 5 to 10 years. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so that's about right. Actually, 10 years, 5 to 10 years. Yeah, if you had a pulse and you went through some sort of boot camp, you had a job. Even if you didn't have a CS degree, if you took a couple courses at community college, you could get a small time part time job.
Could you get hired with Code Academy?
Um, that I don't think Khan Academy was robust enough back then, but I do remember 2013, I took two courses and then I got hired from those two courses.
Well, because interestingly enough, I just read a
Hmm.
story today, and it's exactly on topic. Who's the richest man in the world right now?
Oh, is that Oracle
Larry
guy?
Ellison, age 80.
That Putz guy? Yeah.
So, like Bloomberg, he didn't even fully finish college. Bloomberg finished college and then was hired at Solomon Brothers. Ellison couldn't even get hired at IBM because we want you to have a degree.
Yep. Yep.
And Ellison was so furious because he didn't want to get the degree that he just insisted on doing the following. He read books. He
Mm-hmm.
taught himself programming, which was completely
Mm-hmm.
possible back then.
Yep.
And then he went
Absolutely.
on to start his own company.
Yep.
He had no plan when he got to Silicon Valley.
Fair enough. Yeah. Back
And it
then,
was really
that's
interesting to
possible.
read that because at
Very
that
possible.
time, it was completely understandable that you could self-teach yourself programming
You
because it
could.
was
I
primitive
mean,
back then.
yeah. Back then, programming was a lot different, because we didn't. Because back then there weren't frameworks and all this other shit floating around. Back then, programming was programming. If you can teach yourself C, you can teach yourself C++, you can teach yourself Java, you can teach yourself generics, you can teach yourself topics. And for a time, I did that too. I taught myself. I mean, that's how you learn a programming language. You basically go to documentation and you start building random shit, you know? That's what happens. And then you learn the language and eventually you become an expert. That's basically how it works. But today, that's just not possible because
Well, I think it is.
it's just
I
not.
think personally, it's possible if corporate were more patient with it. But this is where
Uh,
I consider
well, it's
them.
not a corporate. I'll cut you off for a minute because this is an important distinction. It's not that it's not possible as impossible. It's just that there's so much going on in the world of tech that it literally is impossible. Like, sure, you can teach yourself JavaScript, but that's not going to get you anywhere. You gotta then learn CSS, HTML, but that's not gonna. No, you gotta learn React. You gotta learn, and then after React, then you're like, well, that's no good because they changed it to Next.js. So you gotta learn Next.js. You gotta learn these frameworks, and then, but one framework's not good enough. You gotta learn Angular. You gotta learn Vue. You gotta learn. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what's out there. So much stuff that's out there. Remix, you name it. And so, and then from there, that's not enough. But you need to learn um, CDCI. You gotta learn specific tools. You gotta learn testing. You gotta learn this. You gotta, and so to do that entirely on your own, good luck with that. This is too much. It literally is a flood. But yeah, you're right. Like corporate needs to be more patient. Corporate needs to understand that hey, not everybody can get a degree. But unfortunately, corporate, believe it or not, tucked behind, hidden in the background, the degree is a gatekeeper still. Just
Now,
hidden.
when you say gatekeeper, because obviously this is where I completely cringe, what is it about the degree in terms of a gatekeeper? Because effectively at this point, whoever's left of the silent generation and the boomers are aged, meaning now we need to be looking at the next two generations to be kind of leaders in the workforce. And even our generation who's becoming hiring managers are still fucking valuing the degree.
Yeah, I mean
I mean,
it's
I'm
a
going to
sad
give this
scenario.
criticism
It's
about
sad.
our generation. Okay. Don't take this personal. You and I have discussed this before. This is for the audience, especially for the oldest of us. Our
Hmm.
generation talked the most shit when we were kids. We all said how we were going to change the world. And then what ended up happening when we all got into our 20s and 30s? We didn't do shit.
Because we were disabled by the world. That's what happened.
Well,
We,
partly, but
no,
those
we
who
got
even got into
disabled.
hiring positions could have done a little more.
Define. Okay, so I think that's a little bit misleading. Because let's just say, let's say here, the earliest of us would have been out of college in 2004, 2005. By the time we reached the point of hiring people, we were looking at the financial collapse.
Yeah, which I was right smack in the middle of.
Yeah, we all were. And so anyone who was in position to hire, either they lost their jobs or they simply didn't hire anybody because they needed their job. So honestly, I mean, we you just got disabled, and it took like what another 5, 6 years or so before the economy recovered. And by that time,
The economy never recovered, honestly, if you ask me. But
I'm
it's
just saying it recovered. It did recover, but not in the same way that it. But it's just not the same.
no, of course not. And now this actually leads me to my next thing, which is so if companies in the economy had some level of recovery, why do they
Hmm.
nowadays especially require you to go to college instead of just offering their own training programs?
Because it's cheaper for them to outsource it.
Not necessarily because it becomes more expensive for the individual human being, especially if they're not able to access from parents. You
It
can finance it. According to you, it's
yes,
cheaper if it's online, but it becomes a headache when you're managing, you know, but when and if you can even borrow in the first place, which not
right.
everyone
But that's
can.
not the but that's not corporate's concern.
Well, of course it's not corporate's concern because they don't
So
have to
why are we
spend the money and
putting?
they can
Why
go
are we
basically
talking
pad their
about
company
this?
stock.
Is that's the whole purpose? I mean, it's all about corporate. So the reason why they don't do the training programs is because it's profitable for them to externalize that cost, and if there's churn, there's churn.
I mean, I will tell you the one thing that I really feel has gotten the most cringiest.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to pull any, if what would you say on LinkedIn do you cringe at the most or get
Oh
annoyed with?
boy. Oh boy.
I'm sorry, we
The
can't
whole
leave we
motiva
can't
the whole
leave this recording
motivation.
without bagging on LinkedIn. I'm
Oh
sorry.
yes, I'm sorry, but LinkedIn, the whole positivity bullshit.
The toxic
The
positivity
to-
or
the
just the
toxic
whole
this
positivity movement in
sorry, yeah.
general.
Thank you. Toxic positivity, absolute bullshit.
Actually, you want absolute bullshit?
Mm,
In the building up a job seeker like they can get a referral by going to the hiring manager. That's absolute cringe. Giving out
thank
unsolicited
you.
giving out unsolicited career advice like we're all the same person and we want the same things.
Honestly, it's amazing that LinkedIn has survived, but then again, it's owned by Microsoft, so I have no stand. There's no standards with them.
Micro sucks.
Yep. Our
So if
favorite
you
line.
really want a good example of something, I'm just going to pull an influencer's post and we're going to quickly go over it just because, it's kind of fun. All right, here's a good one. So I came onto the LinkedIn platform in 2020. I had made a profile all the way back in 2014. Okay, cool. Uh, back in 2014 or 2013. I was told for years that this was the best place to be looking for and seeking a job, or at least building something professionally. Now, when I come on here in 2020, obviously the platform looks a lot different, and it turned into more of what we like to consider a recruiter's platform. I'm not going to give the name, but basically, here's what I'm going to start by doing a little bit of reading on it. Now, don't get me wrong. I think some creators are good, other creators are cringe and questionable. Like this one, for example. I always thought I wanted to work remotely, but I had no idea how to actually make it happen. In 2011, I gave it a shot and failed miserably. I burned out, dreaded Mondays. I lived with the Sunday scaries. I thought that's just how work had to feel. Fast forward, I've been working remotely for over a decade. I wouldn't trade it for the world. Here's what changed when I switched from office life to remote work. One, one, ha- one, one, I got my time back. The 9 to 5 grind consumed everything. Now I spend more time with my family and I still get more done. My motivation skyrocketed. I'm no longer drained by commutes or office politics. My energy goes directly into meaningful work. Happiness became the baseline when you strip away distractions. You see how much of the life you are missing. Here's the truth about remote work. You don't realize how heavy the office is weighed until you set it down. Now, a decade later, I've built a system that makes work feel lighter, more flexible, more fulfilling. If you're craving remote work, here's what helped me. Start small, test freelancing, hybrid, or project based. Protect boundaries. Home equals office. Define when you start and stop. Focus on results, not hours. Okay, now don't get me wrong. A lot of these recruiter and hiring manager posts are very quote unquote cute. Okay. They're
Mhm.
cutely driven, but they're content marketing. Honestly, the reason I consider these cringe, especially, is because half the generic strategies they give out literally are not for people like you and me who are a different market to them. We're
Mhm.
basically known as the market that can't fucking get hired.
No. Yes.
And these are the type of people, not her specifically, but it's like you're sharing photos about your kid. Okay, cool, you're a mom, but what does this have to do with LinkedIn? LinkedIn is
Mm-hmm.
a networking platform, supposedly. Why, you're probably just needing to do sales at this point. Remote work, how many industries outside of tech actually do remote work? Most don't.
Yeah. There you go.
Retail banking, nope. They're on site
They're in
6 days a
person.
week. Investment banking, they're in the office 6 to 7 days a week doing the famous China schedule.
Uh-huh. Lovely.
The other thing that makes me cringe about that platform, and it's not just the content, but I would say at this point is just questionable, is burnout and the discussion of work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to complain that you're not getting work-life balance from a corporate employer, something literally at this stage tells me you you prefer to be a worker. You don't want, if you want true work-life balance, you would try to pursue something that's more entrepreneurial, which is what part of her message is trying to get out there, doing something for
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
That's right.
Now, is entrepreneurship perfect? No,
No.
but it's not meant to be. It's only for select certain people who know they have to create opportunities for themselves.
Yeah. It's for people who actually want to do something with their lives other than just work and hope.
Like you and I, we've reached a
Yep.
point in our lives where even though I did get something, what's great about that is I have the flexibility to be building what I want off hours.
Mm-hmm.
But since we're getting close to the end, let's wrap up with what would you say in terms of corporate is your most annoying thing when it comes to the hiring requirements? Is it trying to be confused about what they actually want? Because in your eyes, you say they want a degree, but then I'm looking at posts that are suggesting they want a degree, but then they take a junior role and peg it as a entry level role. But the only thing entry level about it is the pay.
It's this is excellent because this is the whole idea behind corporate's nonsense. And I don't think it's really even about the degree. I think they just trying to exploit.
You think
It's
they're what?
it's just they're just trying to overtly exploit you at this point. They avert the avertness of the exploitation. They don't even hide it.
You mean they basically just want to pay you so low that this is like the Middle Ages where we're serfs on the manor?
Exactly, and they don't.
I
And
would
and
use
it's
the
clear.
SLAVRI word, but I know someone in the audience will eventually get offended that I said it.
Ah, go figured. But
So
yeah,
I think serf on the manor sounds like a much better, more appropriate word.
yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, people do get offended. And speaking of that, I was offended recently when I was choosing to be in the to the next round. I applied to some company on LinkedIn, and they sent me a note, an email note, and I clicked the button to say, "Okay, take the assessment." Guess what? They sent me to a company out in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, and asked for 15 US freaking dollars to take their damn JavaScript fundamentals assessment. So I can
Wait a
get
second.
so I can get a
The
downloadable
irony in
copy.
this, you don't have a job. You're a university student
Like
again,
unbelievable.
and they ask you to pay.
Yes, they asked me to pay to take their shitty assessment to prove my skills and have a downloadable copy of the certificate they give me. Like that actually matters. And yeah, I don't know, like the sheer overtness of today.
Oh,
They
I
don't
wouldn't even
even
say it's overtness today. I would just honestly say at this point, the cringiest thing is they don't want to. It's either they don't want to hire, or from one video that you sent me that I thought was really interesting, how money works uncut, which is, by the way, some deep videos. It almost feels like this is what they're doing. Wow, we're not actually going to hire, but if I do multiple round interviews, I get commission.
That too. You never
Make it
know.
make sense. Make it make sense.
For them, it makes sense because it makes money. Because that's all they know.
Stupid corporate. And then they wonder why and then they wonder why why they can't get good workers nowadays. Everyone's just like,
Yep.
my finger, my finger.
Yep. You destroyed you have ripped up the contracts. Now you pay the full
Oh, yeah.
price. Now
Well,
you're paying for breach of contract
yeah, but we
directly.
can't sue them because unfortunately it's the almighty corporate.
Oh no, no, no. It's not even about that. Believe it or not, corporate America has broken the sacred contract in the 2000s. They effectively broke it and just remade it in their own image. Well, the unintended effects of that is what we're seeing today. And so that's why you have everybody going around saying, why am I here? Why am I giving my life to the corporation? Why am I being loyal? They're not loyal to me. There's no benefit for me. They're just a paycheck. And yada, yada, yada. And people are waking up to the fact that corporate ain't loyal. Won't do the right thing. Corporate will ghost you. Corporate will post jobs that they're not gonna hire for. They're gonna.
How about my other favorite
Ah,
thing about them recently that I learned?
mm,
Speaking of ghost jobs, actually, this was my personal favorite.
mm.
We can't use Chat GPT to write a resume, but they can use Chat GPT to write a job post.
Absolutely. I
Or my
hypocrisy.
favorite, wow, that's a Chat GPT resume. No, no, no.
Trash, trash, trash.
Or wow, the candidate's using AI to chat with our Chat GPT.
That's the best one.
Now you have to come into the office for the interview.
Oh, really?
We are almighty corporate. We do whatever we want. You have to deal with it because you want the job.
Nah, we don't want the job. We just want the income, man. That's all we care
No, you
about.
want the job. You want to serve us. That's what you were educated for your whole life. We are corporate. Bow to us.
The only thing I'll be bowing down to is you, you on your knees. That's all I'm saying.
And That's that's all we got for tonight from me and Justin's end. We'll be
Bye.
bringing this back more often because this is me and Justin's favorite topic at this stage. All right, y'all. So
Bye.
enjoy one another and your families. We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.